What do you need to know about Notre Dame? Well, here's my first question. This whole offensive coordinator promotion of Gerard Parker, this whole acquisition of Sam Hartman out of the portal at quarterback, is it going to work? Is the biggest question, not just one question. That's the biggest question. Because producer Jesse and I were combing through some numbers today. You know, if this pans out, Sam Hartman on paper is the best statistical player they will have had at quarterback since, dare we say, Brady Quinn? I have to say his name softly or else he'll hear us. Could happen. It could also be that he doesn't have many weapons to throw the ball to this year. That's a lazy take, according to Notre Dame fans. And I know what you would say in response. Hold on, I'll get to it. Last year, we watched Josh Gaddis go to Miami, and they failed offensively. Even with Tyler Van Dyke there, they failed offensively. And I always have that fear in the back of my mind. When we have a new offensive coordinator, even if there's a good quarterback, somehow it just doesn't mesh. So that's question number one. It's not that I doubt, it's that I have a question about it. Question number two, where are the offensive weapons? Do they have enough? Now, some people would lead you to believe that they don't have any potential candidates, and I do not believe that. I just believe they were completely underutilized last year. So Jaden Thomas, for example, is a receiver that had 361 receiving yards last year. He's way better than that. Deion Colsey had 192 receiving yards last year. We've got Tobias Merriweather all the way down there, 1 touchdown, 41 receiving yards. Those dudes in the right offense are all 1,000-yard plus receivers. They just weren't in the right offense last year. So let's see if they're in the right offense this year. And I could tell you stats like 4 of their top 5 pass catchers move on, including Michael Mayer, the big-time tight end. If you've got the right OC, if therefore you've got the right quarterback, it will be fine. They will have much better numbers than I'm showing you on your screen right now. It's a big if. That's why it's a question. Question number 3, is this a rebuild defensively or is this a reload defensively? They've got a solid incoming freshman class, and they'll need it because they've got pieces to replace here. And they will, I don't think it's a bold statement to say they will heavily depend on true freshmen, or at the very least a bunch of underclassmen, on all 3 levels of their defense, not just starters, but in the 2 deep. This is why they focused their recruiting effort on that side of the ball. They got really good players. It's just that a lot of them are going to have to play. So those are the 3 questions I have for Notre Dame. The best position group here, their offensive tackles are good, man. Both of these guys are NFL guys. They've got depth. I could go 2 deep on both of these positions, and they're set this year. Joe Alt at left tackle, first-team All-American last year, 6'8", 315. Their right tackle, Blake Fisher, 6'6", 310. Both of them started every game last year. Both of them have quality backups behind them that probably would start at many Power 5 outposts. So offensive tackle's great. Their center's good. Their offensive line should be really good this year. I mean, I guess you could ask questions about the guard position, but these are very, very first-world questions. Notre Dame's okay on the offensive line. The breakout player, I'm going to go right back to that receiver room. If we had to circle a name here, Tobias Merriweather, the receiver with 1 touchdown, the receiver with 41 total receiving yards, former 4-star. He was the number 80 overall player in the 2022 cycle. He played in 7 games last year. Very forgettable statistics. This spring, they were in love with him. A lot of folks around the program are in love with him. He's big. He's 6'4", 205. He is getting Sam Hartman at the perfect time. And Sam Hartman is getting him at the perfect time. So it could be any of those receivers. I'm just picking out him because we kind of like him. We kind of lean towards him a little bit. Their schedule is once again going to dispel one of the great myths in college football, and that myth is Notre Dame never plays anyone. It's the dumbest thing people say. They aren't dumb for saying it. It's just smart people saying dumb things. Notre Dame always plays a tough schedule. They always do. It's always incorrect when people say they don't. Well, Josh, they play Navy. Yeah, they play Ohio State, at Duke, at Louisville, and USC back-to-back too. Oh, they got a trip to Clemson in November as well. They play good teams every year. It's just that they're not in a conference. So they don't play a bunch of teams from the SEC or the Big Ten. That 4-game stretch is going to determine their season, by the way. Ohio State is 9/23, so that's September 23rd. A lot of you probably wonder, why are you mentioning Duke? Well, Duke's a good team with a really good quarterback, and they go on the road there the week after they play Ohio State. And Louisville, ditto, new coaching staff there, that's the second leg of a back-to-back road stretch, and that trip to Louisville is also in the look-ahead position because Notre Dame has USC coming to town the next week. You go 2-2 against that and probably play really good football, or I guess I should invert that statement. You could play really good football and go 2-2 in that stretch. You play questionable football, you go 1-3, and all of a sudden, well, there goes our season again. Their over-under win total is 8.5, and I think in large part it is due to that stretch as well as a November date at Clemson. Notre Dame, very unpredictable team this year. They're always a wild card when you're trying to make your little playoff picture because you forget about them because they're not in a conference, but they will be a factor there. And if they're not in it themselves, remember who I told you they play. They play Ohio State right in the thick of it. They play USC right in the thick of it. They go to Clemson in November right in the thick of it. Notre Dame's a team you got to be following.